If I asked you to name a famous great detective, I'm sure there would be a vast majority out there that would say Sherlock Holmes. Some may even say Batman. Yes, he was an actual detective, the world's greatest in fact. Although I think Basil the Great Mouse Detective would be my first choice. Hi folks, Lance here, aka Lima Tango. The reason I posted that cryptic question at the beginning is because recently I've been playing The Sinking City on the Nintendo Switch. It's an action-adventure and I'd add detective game developed by Frogwares and published by Big Ben Interactive. The game is inspired by the stories of HP Lovecraft, that's the guy that came up with Cthulhu, and is set in the fictional town of Oakmont, Massachusetts, during the 1920s, though it's not a Massachusetts you'd probably recognise. This version has been a victim of terrible floods, and the majority of the population are practitioners of the occult and worship oddly vague gods. Additionally, some of the locals are not exactly what you'd call typical inhabitants. You play the part of a private detective called Charles Reed, as you search for the reason to visions that you've been having of sunken cities and sea monsters. You've been invited to Oakmont by a character named Johannes Vanderberg, who thinks you'll find answers to the strange visions you've been plagued with, as others in Oakmont have also reported to be suffering from the same visions as yourself.
At last, Mr. Charles Reed. What a pleasure to finally meet you in the flesh.
Nice to meet you.
Johannes Vanderberg, at your service. I did promise to meet you the moment you arrived.
Ah, much obliged, Mr. Vanderberg. I guess I didn't expect you to mean so literally.
Please call me Johannes. But where are my manners? Well,
What makes The Sinking City different from other detective mystery-solving stories is the use of paranormal on the side of the main character. Your character Charles has extrasensory perception and skills, allowing you to rewind time very similar to Batman Arkham Asylum at certain crime scenes, but this time you can step into a ghostly realm that allows you to uncover additional clues. This lends itself to the eerie atmosphere portrayed, not only in its various locations, but to the overall game itself. The game takes place in third person, only shifting to first person in combat, and I'll cover that later, and also when you're investigating clues. The clue system is something I haven't encountered before. As you collect clues, you piece them together to form a conclusion of what happened at the scene. If you're satisfied with your conclusion, you can then select it and it's acted out in the game, resulting in any manner of shifts to the overall story. In effect, there are no right or wrong answers, but your conclusion may affect the storyline further down the road, forcing you to really think about the clues and making you explore various angles before coming to a definitive conclusion.
Happening!
Okay, let's see what we have here.
What's happening?
Take this, ape-face.
The town of Oakmont is almost a character in itself. Due to the heavy flooding that's been ongoing for 6 months prior to your arrival, it's left the town isolated on the map, and parts of it are now derelict and run down. The town itself has been split into areas, cut off in parts due to the flooding, meaning the only way to traverse the area is by boat, which is handily supplied to you at the beginning of the game. The town maintains a class system. The working class has been mainly relegated to the fishing port and shanty towns, and the more well-to-do residing in townhouses and larger manor houses. It's this class system that sows in an air of racial inequality to the game, as the lesser-off inhabitants of the town are mainly a fish-like humanoid species called Innsmouthers, and the wealthier, more well-off citizens have a very chimpanzee-like appearance. These two classes have a very apparent disdain for each other, as you discover by having various conversations with the inhabitants of Oakmont whilst you're searching for clues. It's this undertone that brings the characters to life and gives them substance as you question them for more details.
Did it. I want to look him in the eyes, make him beg for mercy.
What kind of... why do you... your face, it's,
Oh, so you're here to attack me just 'cause I look different to you? Wanna spit on me, whisper to your friends? What's new?
no, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to ask. I've just never met someone like you before. I didn't mean any offense.
Innsmouthers' bodies were blessed by the sea. You're gonna see it. Hey, knock it off!
Like most adventure games, the Sinking City does have combat sections, where you'll have to dispatch paranormal creatures called wild beasts, or even have to defend yourself from hostile Oakmont citizens sent by shadowy figures to hamper your investigations. However, this is my biggest issue with the Sinking City. The combat is terrible. You can collect various weapons throughout the game, most being simple variations of pistols, with the occasional more substantial shotgun, but the ammo is quite scarce, so most of the time it's more prudent to hammer the melee button and dispatch foes with blunt instruments like bats or pipes that you can pick up along the way. And that's if you can land a hit. This is the issue I have. The combat controls are janky at best, resulting in successful hits mostly being luck. The number of times I died while desperately trying to aim my pistol is beyond belief, which is a real shame because this game is good. The characters you meet are genuinely fleshed out and appear to have had thought put into them. The setting is suitably eerie and mysterious and captures the Lovecraft vibe brilliantly. But the moment you have to defend yourself or dispatch a foe, you end up screaming in frustration at the terrible movement, the camera angles and the lackluster design of the combat system. Its only saving grace is the fact there isn't actually much combat in the game. Most of the game will have you travelling around Oakmont, uncovering dark pasts, hidden occult secrets, furthering your own search for answers to the terrible visions.
Guess this helmet's beyond repair.
So, would I recommend The Sinking City? Yes and no. I know that doesn't help, but let me explain. Yes, if you're a fan of the HP Lovecraft universe. If you're a fan of deep, rich mysteries and tales of the occult, trust me, this game ticks all those boxes. And no, if you want a fluid action-adventure game. Whilst there is action in the game, it's mostly centred towards investigations and sleuthing, and at times the action seems to have a second chair, almost second thought to the overall play, which just spoils the action-adventure style. Ultimately, I like this game. I love the setting, the unsettling feeling woven through the narrative. Would I play it again? Probably not. The frankly rubbish combat brings me to this final deduction. The Sinking City is a good game, terribly let down by an awful combat system. I'd say that was elementary, my dear Watson. Thanks for watching, folks. I've been Lance, aka Lima Tango, and don't forget to head over to respawning.co.uk for more game related content and hit our YouTube channel for more news and reviews. Catch you in the next one, folks. Ciao for now.